Hey guys, welcome to Growing with the Passmores. I am Nicole. Today is Thursday, July 25th. We haven't uploaded a video in a while, so we are going to do a updated garden tour. We're going to start off with our grapes. They are doing really well. They have grown quite a bit since the last video. We watched it a couple nights ago and we noticed that this area over here was kind of bare, and now they're tying onto the tree. They're actually growing up this big branch right here on the tree. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's bad for the tree, but we'll see. It looks kind of cool. This is one of my favorite areas over here because it's so lush. The zinnias are happy. Zinnias are my favorite flower, and they're super, super easy to grow. Super easy to grow. They're cut and come again flowers, so you can, the more you cut, the more they'll come, and they're great for bouquets. They look fake almost. They'll last on their stem in the ground and stay pretty like that for a long time, and also in a vase. So I have a bunch of them in the house right now. But back to the grapes. We have harvested 3 or 4 bundles off of this already, and they're really good. We harvested the purple ones or the red ones so far. There's still a couple back there that we could probably clip off, but we're not sure about the green ones. They're pretty sour still. But everything looks happy. We're hoping that we don't get whatever disease they had last year. I'm guessing it's a disease. I'm not quite sure. It's a white, gooey gunk that was on some of the leaves. And so we're keeping a close eye on it this year. The stuff that's in here underneath isn't doing the greatest. Our tomatillos, this one's, it's grown, but it's not really produced. I mean, it's not doing much. And the other one back there, can you even see it anymore? There's some of it. So I guess they're growing better than I thought, actually. We'll see about those. Those were from seed. Our watermelon, it's about baseball size. We're hoping we get a good harvest with that because we don't usually have very good luck with watermelon. Moving along. Kind of talked about what's in this tree already. We have some wildflowers and some Swiss chard. That's not doing the greatest. Here's our strawberries. We got 0 strawberries off this plant. I can't grow strawberries to save my life, but they look happy in there, so we're just gonna leave them be. Pepper plants are doing good. We have the big Jim over here. We've harvested a lot off of that. Santa Fe Grandes, they're doing really well too. That one just fell right off. Guess I'll pull. No, that one's. You can kind of tell if a pepper is ready to be pulled. I think if you pull up and they just come right off, that's kind of small to me. But I've tried to pull some, and they give me a hard time, so I leave them. But Santa Fe Grandes doing good. Jalapenos, we haven't really had the greatest luck with our jalapenos this year so far. They're under that tomato, which these tomatoes are doing really well. We have some little guys on there, some bigger ones over there. I don't know why they're so light. Were these from seed? I forget.
That's a good question. I don't remember either.
I want to say they were. I don't know. So I'm not really sure the brand. I know, or the variety. I know that I don't have tags in there though. The cucumbers. These things have grown a ton since the last video. These were, we've said before, little starter plants from my father-in-law. They're supposed to be straight 8s. They are not. At least one of them is not. We've already got a couple lemon cucumbers off of here, which I love lemon cucumbers. They're good. We still have some other ones popping up on here. So I think this is going to be a pretty productive plant. Look at all these. There's little starts on there everywhere. We're waiting to see what these are in the back. They may or may not be straight eights. He bought them from, I don't know, a box store, and they were mislabeled then, right?
No.
Or were they seeds?
They were seeds.
Wow, okay. Mislabeled seeds. So over here we have our zucchini plant. We've gotten one zucchini off of there. Tomato, slicer tomato. I can't tell if there's any deep down in here. I know there's one small one, but everything seems really happy and looks really good this year, but it doesn't seem to be producing as much as last year. I don't know if that's just an us thing or what. We have some wildflowers. This dill is doing awesome. It keeps trying to go to seed and put out its flowers, and I keep pulling them off because I want this to go longer. We will let it eventually go to seed and then harvest those and try and grow it again next year. Another watermelon plant in here that's not doing great. This guy's pretty small. So is this guy. So crossing our fingers, something will happen with that. All of my flowers, butterfly bush, hummingbird. I think that's a hummingbird bush and that's a butterfly bush. Our pole beans are not doing very good. They've been kind of stagnant lately. They haven't grown much, and we haven't gotten anything off of them. We have our tomatillos over here that are doing okay. I've gotten a few off of these already. The edamames, I won't grow these again, I don't think. They were pretty productive. We've put them in a lot of stir fries. They're not my fave. Seed box. These were all from seed. I don't remember the varieties. This is a tomato. This box is blown up since the last time you guys saw it, if you watched our first garden tour. These are some, I don't know what these are either. I'm terrible about that. Next year, I'm going to be better. I think it's like a banana or a wax pepper of some sort. If I had to guess. I don't remember. But they're happy. Tomatoes popping out everywhere. This cucumber box looked a lot better in the first video. Dan tied it up with some twine. We've gotten, I think, 2 cucumbers. We do have one right here though that's holding on strong. We can't grow a good uniform cucumber. They always look kind of funky like this. And this is a burpless, so I feel like it should be darker, bigger, and just more uniform, but I don't know. They're good. They're not bitter, so we'll see. Look at this powdery mildew though. That's not good. So you want to be on, look at the little piece. You want to be on top of, ooh, don't. You want to be on top of pulling your powdery mildew leaves, or they will spread throughout the whole plant and take over, and then it'll be a sad day. But this, I don't know if it was from the wind or what, but it's just not as happy as it was a couple weeks ago. Actually, that was about a month ago. Our Japanese eggplant, we've gotten 2 off of this plant. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it has too much shade. Eggplant loves the heat and the sun. Last year we had a Black Beauty eggplant in that box over there where the tomatillos are, and that sucker produced like crazy. We were trying to give it away to people and nobody wanted it. So the chicken enjoyed it. But this year, not too good of luck. This is our Calabacita squash plant that's looking like it's pretty happy. We've gotten 1 squash off of it so far. There's another one on here growing. The leaves are happy. They don't have any powdery mildew or anything. This is normal, this white coloring on the leaves. Some varieties just have that. That is not powdery mildew. We have the cucumbers back there. Those, I believe, are straight eights. We haven't gotten any cukes off here yet, but we're hopeful. It looks pretty. Hopefully it'll grab onto the fence. All right, guys, we're back. We had to take a break. It was hot, and I had to get a drink. So now this is the box that we left off on. So let's pick back up. We have the determinant tomatoes in the back. They've grown quite a bit. We have some tomatoes on there. I don't think we've ever grown determinate tomatoes, so this is new for us.
Star of the show.
The star of the show are the bell peppers. I've attempted to grow bell peppers last year, but they did not do good. But these are ready to come off. I don't know when to harvest bell peppers, but I would say we're just gonna go ahead and have this one. This one, I forget what this is, and I thought I had a tag in here, but it's not doing great. We haven't gotten anything off this. It's another bell pepper of some sort, but serranos. We've harvested some of these, made some salsa with them.
Some salsa verde.
Yep.
Whose recipe do you use? Shout out to Arnie Tex.
Arnie Tex. He's on YouTube. He's the best.
He's hilarious.
And that's some authentic salsa verde that I made too, let me tell you. Then we have some straight 8 cucumbers. These have grown quite a bit since the last video.
You need to tie them up a little bit more.
We do. I use this Velcro stuff. I got it from Home Depot. It's lasted, you only need a tiny bit, so it's lasted us the whole season so far. We still have some left over, but I feel like it's a lot softer on the stems of the plants than twine sometimes. Ooh, what is this guy? That's a yucky, is that a wasp or something else?
Oh, that's a big old wasp.
Callan's partying back there.
Huh.
Yeah. So in this box, this is my favorite box. Dan built this for me in 2022 for Mother's Day. When I first started getting serious gardening, right now I have Japanese cucumbers in it and 2 Japanese cucumbers back there. There's 4 tomatillos in here and some herbs and stuff that you can't see on the side box there. Some pineapple mint. This is doing pretty good, actually. I should put some in my tea. And then some rosemary that's from 2 years ago that's overwintered. This box was doing great. The tomatillos were poking out of the top, and we had a huge wind storm blow through here and break a bunch of my limbs. This is my second attempt growing tomatillos, and for those of you that don't know, you need at least 2 plants. Some people will tell you otherwise and say that's not true, but I know from experience you don't get any fruit from 1 tomatillo plant. You need at least 2, 3, 4 is preferred. So there's 4 in here. Like I said, they were doing beautifully. The wind ripped through here and broke them. So I told myself this year if I could be successful growing 1 tomatillo, I would be happy, and I have harvested a whole bowl full and made salsa out of it, and they're very good. So all this new growth seems to be happy. I'm hoping it'll just continue to produce for us. I have a love-hate relationship with tomatillos and the wind. Over here, our Sun Gold tomatoes are falling out of the box. We're just going to let them go because they too got ripped away by the wind and broken. We salvaged them though. I tied them up with some twine. These have been holding up pretty well. We've had some, 20-mile-per-hour winds since then through here, and they've done well.
Yeah, 25 plus.
Yeah. Let's see. Sun Golds are super good. I've never grown them before until this year, and I'm not a huge tomato person, but you could eat these. I mean, they're the sweetest, yummiest tomato. I'll grow them every year. We have some on the bottom that need to be harvested. And then let's see, our Swiss chard isn't doing very good. I'll get out of the way so you could get in there and show them. I don't know if Swiss chard gets powdery mildew on it also or what, but the leaves are starting to look pretty crappy. So we don't know if we leave it, maybe when it cools down, it'll start producing again and get happier. But right now it just doesn't look good. But we've harvested a ton of that. So we definitely got our money's worth out of that Swiss chard, that's for sure. The slicer tomato back there, I didn't notice before, but it doesn't look like it's doing the greatest. We cannot grow slicer tomatoes, large tomatoes in general, to save our lives. I think it's because we don't have a drip system or just something that has a consistent watering schedule. All of ours always crack, or they don't get big enough. I don't know. So I think next year we'll probably just stick to cherry tomatoes. I like cherry tomatoes. You can do all sorts of things with them. These were those little volunteer tomatoes that we did not plant. I did have tomatoes in here last year, so it could have been from that. So I'm thinking they're just going to be little cherry tomatoes. I've gotten a couple of them off here, but they're not doing much. The carrots, they're in there still. I don't know. The greens don't look great, but we'll see. Peppermint is in that box over there. Dan always has something to say about that box of peppermint, that it's never doing good.
It looks terrible.
Right now it isn't really doing very good. This is Dan's hack job of a haircut for our Calabacita squash. It was growing all over and the wrong way, and it was covering the chamomile that I too hacked, and it's struggling. It was covering the basil. It was laying into, I mean, it was pushing over. Look at this poor plant. It's struggling bad because the squash leaves were just taking over. They were massive and they were growing really funky. So Dan trimmed a bunch. We also learned from Epic Gardening from Eric, aka Kevin. He is growing his squash and zucchini right now vertically. What are you trying to show me? Oh, a squash bug. Okay, those suckers are not good, and I don't have my tool with me. Oh, there's two of them. Yuck. Okay. I can't grab those and pinch them. They're right there, like other people can. That grosses me out, so we just stepped on them. So anyways, yes, this hack job. Now I forgot what I was talking about.
Eric, Epic Gardening, aka Kevin.
Yes, he's growing his squash or his zucchini or whatever. He's testing a way to do it vertically, kind of like this too, but he's doing
it way better than we are.
Yeah, this it was last minute. This might not even make it after that.
I took a lot of the foliage off that does the photosynthesis, and it may succumb to its haircut, but it just needed to happen. I should have done it sooner, and it's my fault. So sorry about that, Nicole.
Hopefully it lives. We've gotten, that plant though has given us a lot of squash.
I think we've got at least 10 off of it.
Yeah, so I'm happy. We didn't really have that good of luck with stuff last year. Certain things, we're doing better on like our cucumbers and our zucchini, our squash, all of that's really good this year. Last year it wasn't as good. But we're struggling with our tomatoes. We had tomatoes and eggplants and all of those things coming out everywhere last year, but that's okay. Look at this habanero.
Show me its undercarriage.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
This is a habanero red.
It's just going nuts.
And this one's getting ready to turn. It's almost there. We have another one down there getting ready. I noticed last year with habaneros that they do this. They get full and then they kind of all are ready at once. So that's okay. I'm excited for these. We're starting to use habaneros in our salsa now. I never used to, so this excites me. And habaneros are they're a little pricier, so look at all those. We have another one back here that's the orange habanero, and these things are massive. I've already gotten a couple off of these. This one's close to being ready, but that's the biggest habanero I've ever seen. I don't know if you can tell.
I mean, it looks a little deformed, but hey, I'm sure it's going to be
great. They're like
great.
that though.
They have great flavor. I mean, they're definitely warm, but the flavor of a habanero and a salsa versus just jalapenos
We'll take it to a
is
whole nother
hands
level.
down. It's like gives it a little bit more salt and garlic flavor without salt or garlic, which is really strange.
Yeah, this plant is sad. This was a snack pepper, and I think it showed it on a countertop, like in the kitchen on the tag when I bought it, but we said, let's just try it in this. It probably wouldn't be doing too bad if the zucchini or the squash didn't take over. And then basil, I think this is just the normal sweet basil.
And this is the basil that we used on the pizza the other night. It wasn't the other one because the other one actually does look like it's a little malnourished. This basil seems a lot happier, I think, because it's in the shade more.
Yes. And I also make sure, you want to make sure that you're always picking off, if you ever see it getting ready to flower, you want to pull them off if you want your basil to keep going and taste normal. If you let it flower and then go to seed, or even when it just flowers, it'll change the taste and the texture of the basil. So you want to be on top of that.
It kind of makes it a little bitter, right?
Yeah, it makes it bitter, and I've seen people hack the crap out of basil and it'll just grow back, but I don't like to do that. I just pull the flowers off. Some parsley. I've cut that back a couple times and it's doing good still. Our shishito peppers, we have harvested a crap ton of shishito peppers off of here. They're really good in stir fries and fresh too. I don't know how to explain them, but they're really good. They have they have a very distinct flavor, I think. And then lemon balm, I need to harvest some of this stuff and dry some more of it for teas. These are probably ready to go. Pull those off. And then over here we have our mint barrel. I think there's some chocolate mint in there, some spearmint, some peppermint. And then in this pot over here, we have a Cosmo that is a volunteer and a dead zinnia. And then our raspberry bush did really, really, really good in the start of the season. We were picking raspberries off of there every day, handfuls. And now it's fallen back. Ooh, I thought that was something on me. Okay. There's some bugs and some critters here. I'm trying to stay low. This box has taken off since the last video. This is an okra from seed. I don't remember if it was one of our okras from previous years that we kept and harvested and then planted, or if they were from a new package. Do you remember?
It's ours. We don't have any okra seeds, so it's all
what we harvested from.
What's it? Crimson Spineless from either 2022 or 2023.
Okay. These are straight eights from seed. These were very, very tiny last time, and now they're growing up this bamboo stick. They look happy, so we're hoping we get some good cukes from it. We have, let's see, another cucumber back here.
Right, there's a little one right there.
Look at that one on the back of the
big
fence.
One there.
These are straight eights as well.
There's one right there.
We have never had this good of luck with pickles, ever. Well, cucumbers, but we pickle them. But or we'll eat them fresh with some ranch, or we'll just walk around the garden and snack on them, like share them, like we did the other night, which is one of the best ways to eat them, right off the vine. But this thing is taking off. There's cucumbers on here everywhere. This makes me very excited. So that's growing all the way over there, and then it's also growing into this box too. We have our pole beans that have completely strangled the yellow squash. This thing is not producing anymore, and it is getting quite a bit of powdery mildew. Honestly, if all of this wasn't growing on top of it, I would probably just pull it and start putting some of our other starters in this box. but I think we're kind of married to this plant for the season at least. Okay, we had a little water issue. We were overwatering the tree, and Callan let us know, so we had to switch the water over to the other tree. Back to it. Over here we have another straight 8 cucumber in the back corner of this box. And then we have some arballs that look to me like they're getting ready to turn color. We've never grown those before, and I'm excited to put those in salsa as well. We have some onions that Dan put in here. Were those already
Those are just green onions.
Okay. This is our spaghetti squash. I didn't think this was going to do much, and then this guy showed up and seems to be doing all right. Hasn't grown much in the last few days. This has powdery mildew on it too. So I've been trying to pull all the leaves off. You can see how many I've already pulled off. I just want this to make it through the season. I've never grown spaghetti squash, so I'm hoping it'll be all right. It's grabbing onto my chamomile back there and kind of choking it out. We have some carrots in here, the Greek oregano. All this stuff just seems to be kind of the same. I do have some zinnias popping up in here though that I threw in there and forgot about, so that makes me happy. This lettuce is probably bitter as all get out, but hey, if it's green and it looks happy and it's growing, we just leave it because we want everything to be as green as possible. These strawberries, we've gotten 2 strawberries off of them, and they're like the size of my pinky. Strawberry tips would be helpful. We do fertilize it with fish fertilizer, and we've used other fertilizers in here as well, and they still just don't do anything for us. So I'm kind of giving up on strawberries, I think, for good. And that's it.
Oh, hey everyone. Dan back here, growing with the Passmores on the garden update tour of my Father's Day box and then our Three Sisters and okra box. The last time you guys saw this box, it was just plywood and it looked really, really bad. And I know that I'll probably get some backlash on using plywood for the box construction. However, everything that I build, all these boxes that you've seen, is 100% throwaway wood or something that's going to go into the landfill. So I'm just trying to do my part of repurposing materials that are just going to take up space and rot in a landfill. Even the skins on the box are old like cedar fencing slats that were from a construction project that we had to put a new fence up, and they were going to go to the landfill, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. We can repurpose it, and I think it makes our boxes look old and dilapidated, kind of like I do. But this box I built basically in a panic just for more okra, because I'll show you the other okra we have I think is stunted from lack of morning sun. But these okras here are I believe from Tractor Supply, and they looked really good, and I got them Father's Day weekend or just a couple days afterwards, I believe. You can see this little okra right here. That thing's ready to pick. You really don't want them to get much bigger than this, because after they get larger than this, they get the outside material gets really, really woody in texture. The flavor kind of just goes away, and it's just not a good bite. So that's going to come off here directly. But I want to show you, I mean, I'm not a big flower guy, but my favorite flowers in the world are actual okra bloom flowers. I mean, look at the beauty in that. That is almost as pretty as my wife, I'm telling you. That thing is incredible. We've got the Miracle Golds in here that are still just getting after it. This is a big disappointment. I can't remember. I think this is Serrano. It has died back twice and then comes back and then dies back again. It's so late in the season. I think it was kind of sick when we bought it.
Is that the one that the worm got too?
No, the worm was on the purple tomatiller. But this pepper here is, I believe, another Serrano. And this Serrano is doing really, really good. It's not producing anything, but the leaves, you know, they have a good green, dark color to them. They seem really happy. I don't really care if we get anything off of it. I just want to see if I can rejuvenate these plants and just let them have at least a happy summer. This here is an Anaheim, and we've got a few little Anaheims on it, but it just, I think we bought them late, put them in the ground late. I think the soil might be a little bit hot. Um, in all reality, this box, to my personal opinion, is just a trial run and kind of an expensive one, but fun. Here's another okra that's ready to go, ready to pick, and then another little lovely flower, a little ant in there, just anting around. That is hopefully going to just help it out a little bit. This, I believe, is a pink Berkeley tomato that really just sucks. But I mean, we fertilized this with fish fertilizer last week, and then over the weekend, our local nursery from Waters Garden Center in Prescott, they have this stuff called Flower Power, which is like I think it's like a 10-48-10, so like 48 count in the phosphorus, and it's supposed to really kind of produce flowers and stuff and trick the plant into going into fruit. So I was going to try to trick these little plants into maybe starting to mass produce, which may be a bad idea because they're so young and they really probably haven't generated a good root system or a good green system to do the photosynthesis process. But this year is a tie hot. I'm super excited about this one because we've never grown it. And look at the peppers. I mean, this also came from the same nursery that I got those other Serranos and Anaheims that aren't doing well. But this, it doesn't look like it's in the happiest state of life because look at the size of this leaf, and then all its new leaves up here are probably about an eighth of the size or maybe a tenth of it. We've got some yellow squash growing in here. I don't know if they're yellow or golden. I don't know if they're the crookneck or not. Doesn't really look like they are. I can't really remember. We really just chaos garden. We don't really care to take notes, even though we get on ourselves about not knowing what's growing. But it's a lot to manage. I did a count, and without counting the potatoes and the carrots and onions, we had over 256 vegetable and fruit plants growing in about 1,500 square feet. So that'd be a lot of notes and it'd take a lot of time to figure that out. So we're just rolling totally unmanaged. This here is an Anaheim chili again. I mean, it's grown a few little chilies. I don't think it's going to do well, but it's fun just to see the process start late. We've never done this. We've never started anything this late in the season. But this okra, I'm telling you, I mean, you're supposed to kind of slap your plants a little bit and just have a little human interaction with them because I think it makes them feel like loved and nurtured, you know, to have a little bit of contact, even just get rough with them a little bit too. They feel like they've been naughty. Another okra, look at this one here is totally ready to pick. This one's, I'm just going to go ahead and pull these two after we get done filming, and most likely we'll end up pickling those. I love pickled okra. We always buy those jars of Texas pickled okra, and they're like $5 a jar. So now we're just rolling in for, we're actually kind of saving some money now at this point. This is the no pun intended, the pair of pear tomatoes. I think I said this last time, and I thought these were the same ones. And then Nicole said she had actually harvested 4 off of this little tomato bush that, in my opinion, is really doing bad. It's stunted. It's not happy. I don't know why. If anybody has any pointers on how to grow tomatoes, I can't grow tomatoes, just please let me know. That's why we're really doing these videos in this area, is for local people that have more experience to help us. Oh, look at that little ladybug right. Oh, it just took off. Cute little guy. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. Oh, it just flew away. But this right here is what I'm really excited about. This is the Carolina Reaper pepper. I've never seen one in the store. I've never had one before. I like heat. I really do like a lot of spice. I'm a little scared of it, but it's not doing, oh my goodness. The first little flower
I hope you guys can see the sun right now is
is on fire.
we're always trying to battle something.
Yes. So hopefully we'll get some hot peppers, and I'd imagine they're going to be just as hot coming out as they do going in, or as they will be going in. These are some purple tomatillos. I don't think we're going to get a yield out of them because look at this. I don't know if you can get this right here, but we've got a sack and there's no tomatillo in there. And then on its sister plant here, we've got the same thing that is growing, but there's no, Oh my gosh, just today I checked this last night and there was nothing in there. So let's look at this box that I'm worried about. This year I built in February. I think I told you guys that in the beginning of the first video, but it just doesn't get as much sunlight as I thought it should, or I didn't think about it when I built it, but it doesn't get as much sunlight as I wish it would because of the fence and just morning sun, the way it rises. But these okras really are taking off and fighting with these zinnias, which, I mean, these zinnias, I mean, are really happy. I want you to go ahead and come down here and we're just going to focus on another beautiful, look at the size of that flower. I mean, that is just incredible.
They are
That
really pretty.
that combined with a cold Miller Lite is probably the happiest place, bless you,
buddy.
Duggars, that you can really honestly be in your backyard. But underneath it, we've got some more zinnias that are coming up, some other flowers. It looks like we've got some volunteer grass coming up. We had some sweet peas growing up in the back earlier in the season. We did get a pretty good yield off of those, but they're dying out a little bit with the heat. We're just gonna just let them just go and
try again in the fall too,
do what they do for the season. But these okras, I mean, I'm telling you, I was really concerned about them when we filmed our first video ever in I want to say it was late June. But they have probably almost tripled in size since then. And maybe it's just me being paranoid. Maybe other gardeners can just kind of give me a little peace of mind. But when you see something and you feel like it should be more advanced and it's not, I go into panic mode. I start building more boxes. I start buying more plants, and I start covering more area so that I can hopefully get the harvest that I want to get. It's more work. It's a lot more time to water. It's a lot more time to look for bugs and manage. We've been really fortunate this year. We used to have aphids pretty bad earlier on, but we haven't had anything really affecting any of this. So I'm really happy. And look at this little tomatoes. This is a volunteer tomato, which is really strange because this box is brand new. This year, like I said, built in February, all store-bought dirt. It's the Kellogg's raised bed and garden soil. And this tomato is fighting with a zinnia, some pole beans, and a zucchini, and some corn here, little corn. And we're just going to let them really fight it out. The zucchinis look really good. Their leaves are healthy, good, rich, dark green. No powdery mildew, no squash bugs really in here. Just a couple male flowers, though, is all we're getting off of this one and its sister. And I don't understand why, but maybe the corn or the pole beans is really kind of just choking out this corn and not doing it justice. But here's another volunteer tomato. It seems really happy. The leaves of these volunteer tomatoes are in much better shape than the leaves in my Father's Day box. On all of those tomatoes, these just seem like they're really happy. So we're just going to let that ride out and see what wins and what loses. Hopefully everybody wins. I mean, you kind of want your garden to be successful in every way. Just more male flowers on this other squash plant or zucchini. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Look at that little one.
Oh, we finally got our first little female, but she hasn't opened up yet.
For those of you that don't know, who are beginning, this is a male flower because it just has the stem.
It looks kind of like a man.
Yep. And then the female flower is obviously the one that produces the fruit.
That looks like a girl.
That actually has, yeah.
But that was a good point. These pole beans, though, here are just going incredible. They're just wrapping around and choking the corn out, which the Three Sisters garden method, that was the whole point, is that the pole beans take off and climb the corn. Your squash kind of, manage and roll in and kind of shade the bottom area, outside exterior area. Here's another volunteer tomato that I don't think I noticed yet, but it's going. I don't know if we're going to have anything off of it. We're going to let it keep going. But this actual corn has really succumbed to its injuries from the pole beans. But we're just going to look at that little zinnia right there just popping through. I didn't even know that one was growing because it's also choked out by the pole beans.
These pole beans are insane. We should have had a better
harvest
system too, though, for the pole beans. But
we did use some celery in a dish a couple weeks ago. So we just cut the the bottom off, the butt end of it, threw it in a glass of water for a couple days, and then put it in the ground. And this is all new leafy green growth. So hopefully that thing will take off and get rolling. I did put some garlic in here. I believe this right here is some garlic that's just starting to take off.
Hopefully you guys can see
I
that.
stuffed some garlic all over the place and just don't really remember where I put it. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt.
There's a bean. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that off real quick. That's my favorite way to eat them.
Yeah.
Just fresh out of the garden. The zinnias, and the corn. I wanted all my corn to be about 4 to 6 feet tall. It said it was going to be like 4 or 5 feet tall. These are like a dwarf sweet corn for privacy along this fence line. And I do believe they're stunted. I think we put them out a little bit too early. Again, I think I said that in the first video. We put them out in April. I wanted them to be taller so that we had a little more privacy and then a little bit more shade. But next year I'll probably do things different and put like a little cooler crop in here and see if it'll work, because I don't think having a tall crop in this box with the sun that it gets in the morning, or I should say doesn't get in the morning, is really useful for this area. But other than that, I mean, everything else looks really happy. I mean, that was a pretty good bean. I saw another one over here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that one, and we're just gonna keep growing. Stay tuned.